Well, afternoon and welcome to our brunch table, my beloveds. My goodness, people are all over the place today. We've got so much to talk about, so much questions, so many questions, so little time, so many questions. I'm here for you. How is everybody? Blessings. Good morning. It is 11 a.m. in beautiful, gorgeous Portland, Oregon. One of the greatest cities that ever was. Home of the freaks. The official home of the Oracle of Whimsy. Yes, it is. For those people who want to know, the town that hosts the Oracle. Yes. Yes, it is I, my fellow sensitive people. Let's see. Who do you want to give your money to today? How about, should we do feeding the hungry again? Because the economy sucks right now. Okay. Okay. We've got a fundraiser for Feeding America. Last week we were doing senior dogs. We raised a couple $1,000s to help senior dogs. Y'all are great. It's really loving of you to do that. I love animals. I love dogs. I love dogs and kitty cats, but I really love doggies. And so yeah. So it's always nice when you where am I here? Let's see, where am I? Okay, I gotta open this. Just give me half a second. Oh, there I am. Oh, I look so cute. Okay, how is everybody? Yeah, you're holding up? You're worried about the state of things right now? I know many people are, and that's completely understandable. Because, we don't like war. Where is that? Okay, it's here. Sorry, I'm a little verklempt this morning. Yes, boy, you guys have a lot of questions for me. I'm going to get to those in just a second. First off, why don't you go ahead and say hi to everybody here. Welcome to our brunch table. We can agree to disagree. However, some people who don't appear to know much about what they're talking about, it's okay to have an opinion. Just make sure you are doing your homework. But I will block people if you use foul language. If you insult me, if you insult Joel, our floor director, if you, we understand you may not agree with us about everything, and that's, Joel and I don't always agree, but that's what democracy is about, right? But if you use foul language, or if then you will be banned from this channel. And please don't attack me, don't attack other people here on the street, right? So I just have to make that announcement because I have been banning people. It's not fun. Yeah, it's not fun. All right, so this is our brunch table. We welcome you from the four corners of the earth. This is a salon in keeping with the Victorian tradition of the salon, where people, I know it's hard because we have Donald Trump for president, and he and MAGA, I think. And look, I don't entirely blame him because it's on both sides, but we have lost decorum and we have forgotten how to respect each other. and just going off emotionally and yeah, I'm not going to put up with that from myself or from you. You know, I'm trying to be as nice as possible. So this is a salon of sophisticated people. And if you look at the Victorian salon, when you would have dinner with, uh, you know, uh, who I'm thinking of some famous salons. Alice B. Tolkis and Gertrude Stein had a salon, right? Every weekend they would host artists and they would serve a nice meal and they would fund some of these artists and they would have polite discourse and disagreements. Do tell, why do you support that government? Oh dear. It was always done in a very this is his opinion. People were not saying you're a damn idiot, right? Um, and people were often amused by the various different opinions, and because intellectuals should be able to do that. So that is what we're trying to bring back with when we get together weekly. Can we achieve that again? Can we bring back the polite salon where everyone's opinion is respected, that you speak in a manner befitting a lady, a gentleman, and everything beyond and in between, right? Because we are a very tolerant community, and we, you know, come as you are, but just be polite. Couple of announcements. This Tuesday, if I can get a hold of her, Trisha Makuchi will be in the house. Trisha Makuchi. She is the author of The Sunny Side of Crazy. Beautiful book about dissociative personality disorders. By the way, many mediums have aspects of this where they can leave their bodies. It's a coping skill that people learn early in childhood. And sometimes other personalities form from the subconscious. And Carl Jung would say from the superconscious. So consciousnesses that may have existed previously, like Victorians, people who have dissociative personality disorder, sometimes they channel identities which may be living maybe in a parallel universe or in another time. It's fascinating that it goes from subconscious into realms of the unknown, right? Possession, dissociative disorders, etc. Anyway, so it's a fascinating read, The Sunny Side of Crazy. It's about love and healing and how we survive difficult childhoods. Looking forward to speaking with her this Tuesday. Now, we have a new book, and this is very, very interesting. I love books that take me to other cultures, other lands, and other places because it's you know, I love to travel. And isn't it wonderful when you can be comfortable in your bed with your kitty cat, having a nice cup of tea, and you find yourself in ancient Japan or wherever. So this is a book very much like that, In Search of the Sun, One Woman's Quest to Find Family in Japan. I love Japan. It is one of the countries I have seriously considered retiring to. I will learn all the rules and I will be a very polite Japanese woman. You won't get any problems from me. Like I know a lot of Westerners go over there and they're loud and annoying, but I am a very polite, quiet little Japanese woman when I'm in Japan for the most part. And I also think it's a beautiful language. It sounds very interesting to learn, but very difficult. Anyway, so Lisa Lowitz, she's quite a seasoned writer, 20 books. This is our book of the month that we are taking on after we finish with The Sunny Side of Crazy. As I said, this community meets. We are on the four corners of the earth, and we open and extend our table to join your table or your bed if you're hanging out in bed or wherever you are. We come together, we put our tables together, and we create a peaceful table around the world. So be sure and say hi to everybody here. Introduce yourself. Tell us where you're coming from. What are you eating? What are you drinking? And do we have a question for the day? Do we have a question for the day? Yes. What's your favorite brunch? What is your favorite? If you could have anything for brunch, what would it be? Would you have poached eggs with salmon, lox? Would you have a Western omelet? Maybe you want to have something like just simple, like yogurt. But what is your favorite brunch? That might be a nice way to start the conversation. Okay, so we've got a lot to talk about. People are upset about the fact that Donald Trump has taken out the Iranian nuclear reactors. They required a bunker bomb. Israel had been asking for a bunker bomb to take out, and that appears to have happened. Here's what I think, and we can agree to disagree. I think that this was planned years ago. Okay. I think that this was planned years ago. And I have a couple things I want to add to that. Let me see if I can open up what the data showed. I worked on this as part of my PhD. You guys know that. Let me go ahead and open this one. This is a copy of the one that I sent a friend of mine who I wanted his feedback after I had sent it to the IDF. And so here it is again. Let's go ahead and take a look at this. No, this is MAPPA. I got the original. Okay, so I want to be very clear here that this was, I started looking at, artificial intelligence, et cetera, and comparing. And after October 7th of 2023, and the president at the time was Joe Biden. So I just want to be clear about a couple of things that people might be confused about. This was written, this was the results, and it was given to Joe Biden. And Joe Biden officially adopted the first three, right? Phase 1, phase 2, phase 3. Because this was the data. So the data was the data. Now, it takes a long time to isolate Putin. It takes a lot of intel. It takes a lot of things have to happen before you can take down Putin. A lot of things have to happen in order to dismantle Iranian leadership. It takes years. It takes years of planning. What I am saying, and I'm saying it as clearly as possible, is that it was Biden's administration that got this data. It was his intel that was working with this data. And I believe that if Biden were the president, he would have ordered this hit, because Obama had already tried not to bomb Iran. Obama took out Libya as part of an executive order and it was the same exact actions that we see from Trump. So it's the fact that Trump did it, and we don't like Trump. I didn't vote for Trump. And there are a number of reasons why I don't like Trump. That's my personal opinion. Why I did not vote for him. I voted for Harris, and why I'm a registered Democrat. I made my decision. But people have to realize that 74% of registered Democrats approve of what has happened. And the reason is because of the data. And I want to also say that this was given to Joe Biden years ago, which means that he and his intel and the Pentagon, et cetera, probably came to the same results, clearly. Otherwise, why would he have adopted the first three? It takes years. Israel was smuggling drones with Mossad into Iran over that 2 and some odd year period. So while they were telling people publicly, well, as long as you don't enrich the uranium, we'll be okay. But Obama had tried to get them, we will pay you not to drop an atomic bomb. And the conclusion from Obama is this isn't going to work. The only thing they did with my money is they built up Hezbollah and other terrorist networks. And so this is probably one of the reasons why Obama struck Libya, which was opening up a trade route with Putin, and he felt that it threatened the West. So do I think Harris would have ordered this hit? 100%, because the president is just a figurehead, and these decisions were made and the data was collected. I know for a fact, because I can show you the evidence, that this was handed to Biden, which is why he approved the first 3 phases. My rebuild plan, right? Because I gave it to him. I gave it to him and I gave it to the State Department. I can show you all the letters if you guys need further proof. I'm a very honest person. So look, Trump did not plan this. Well, I'll do it in 2 weeks. Trump didn't plan anything. That's what I'm trying to help people understand, is that this was planned by our intelligence, and it really doesn't matter who the president is. It doesn't really matter. So, let's see here. When did I send it to Joe? So, yeah, a lot of stuff was sent to intelligence agencies. Who are you? I'm Dr. Whimsy, and I wrote a peace proposal and I gave it to Joe. And he took it because that's what the data show. You can see White House. Here is all of the data to the White House. Let's see. Let's see if I can get Joe Biden's, anything on Joe Biden here. But yeah. So this is me and correspondence going back to November 4th. Wow. Oh, and also Linda G. I was communicating with. Yeah, because remote viewers, psychics will share our data. So basically what happened was that the intelligence agencies are in charge, and the intelligence agencies were using supercomputers. We were using artificial intelligence. Those of us that I'm a researcher. And so we gave it to Joe Biden, and the Pentagon, Israel, IDF got a copy. And they just looked at the data, and the conclusion was that they took the money that, Obama tried not to bomb them. He tried to work out a deal. The money was used to build up Hezbollah, which is a proxy army of Iran, to take over Lebanon. So Iran was taking over Lebanon. They were firing and sending drones from Lebanon into Israel. They were also taking over parts of Syria, Hezbollah. So American service people were killed. Hundreds of U.S. service people have been killed. They were also arming the Houthi and attacking Americans via the Houthi. So Islamic Jihad, they were paying fighters and they were smuggling weapons in through the Sinai, which was creating security issues for Egypt. So the feeling in that area was that Iran was destabilizing. They were destabilizing Syria. They were destabilizing Lebanon. They were creating hell for the children of Yemen. And so the countries in the area, not just Israel, but Jordan was scared, Saudi Arabia, Bahrain, United Arab Emirates were frightened of the fact that they wanted to, Iran wanted to take over, basically. So Joe would have ordered the hit, just as Obama ordered the hit and took out Libya. He took out Gaddafi. Gaddafi was also becoming an ally of Russia, and they were building a trade route. Obama said it was the biggest mistake of his career because he wanted a trade route into Africa. He just didn't want it to have to be Gaddafi and Putin's. So it's like, how do we get a trade route and start helping African nations without, and prevent Putin and China from taking over? So this was the dilemma of Obama, and he and Hillary made that call, and Hillary was attacked. They forced her to go before Congress. The Republicans did, and terrorized her, knowing full well that it was a decision by Intel, and it was really just symbolic. They wanted to get Obama, right? But Obama made the same decision. Now we have Trump walking in, and what I'm saying is that Joe made this decision. Joe's Intel. The president is really kind of a figurehead, but ultimately it's about Intel. And the reason that I wanted to show that stuff is to help people understand that this was planned probably by Joe under Joe, because we have the proof that it was sent to him, right? It was sent to the White House years ago. So it was a lot of work, and it was necessary. It was a necessary decision by to Obama's credit. To Obama's credit, he tried everything to not be in this situation, right? So yeah, it wasn't a decision that people wanted to make, but the data was moving towards that. So you had the International Atomic Agency going in, and they kept saying, no, we're enriching the uranium for personal use. And they had ballistic missiles. 500 ballistic missiles have been fired on Israel, okay? And 25 have been direct hits. It just takes one with an atomic warhead. It will get through eventually. So we've had hits in Haifa. We've had hits in Beersheba. They took out a hospital. They took out a mosque. We've had hits in Tel Aviv. People are dying in Israel. It's an active war zone. People are being bombed. People are in their safe houses. People are hiding underground because it's a war. So the objective reality, even though it may not be what people want to hear, is that this is not Trump's decision. Trump is like always wanting to take credit for everything. Well, I'll decide in 2 weeks. Well, he didn't decide anything. His intelligence agencies, the intelligence agencies they were working with, Saudi Arabia, United Arab Emirates, Bahrain, everybody in the Middle East, Jordan, and Egypt all agreed these nut jobs got to be taken out. So I just want to be clear and show the data to explain to people that Harris would have ordered this hit, just as Hillary supported the taking out of Libya, because it destabilizes the region. Will it lead to World War III? No. It will prevent World War III, which is why Biden would have approved it, why Obama would have approved it, and why Hillary and Harris would have approved it. It's not about the president. I can't stress enough how many years of planning it took by intelligence agencies to accomplish what they accomplished. They went in, they brought in drones, etc. They were using IRGC intelligence. Mossad had infiltrated the Iranian Guard, and the assassinations were very targeted. They took out several people pretty early on. That takes years and years and years of planning. It doesn't happen overnight. So the problem I think people are having is that it's Trump. And Trump is not a very good person. I think we can, most of us can agree Trump is not a good person. But he wants to take credit for it, etc. Oh my goodness. There was something I wanted to show you, and now I cannot remember what it was. Oh, yeah. Let's see. IRGC eliminated. That's what I wanted. So we can look at how many IRGC have been eliminated. And those are again, it doesn't happen overnight. This is the thing I want people to understand, that it's not about the president. If I can get anything, if I can help people in any way understand how much planning went into this, I'm happy to spend all day trying to explain. This was all, it took years. Racy was probably taken out by IRGC. We talked about him probably being poisoned, which led to the crash. All these people were targeted and eliminated. This guy right over here, he wasn't eliminated. The guy with the glasses is actually Jewish, is a Jewish Mossad agent. He is safely in Israel right now. But the men next to him are all eliminated. Racy is gone. This is the head of Hamas. He's gone. Here's his replacement. He's also assassinated. So that's basically, again, I just cannot stress enough or make it clear enough the years and years of planning and cooperation between nations that had to happen in order for this to have been a success. And Donald Trump, I can assure you, because like I said, I've got all the data. You guys have seen my reports from 2023. And I know people are mad at me and I've lost subscribers, but the data is the data. This doesn't happen overnight. They were tracked. I know how they were tracked, and I'm not going to release that to the public, but let's just say, well, some people know my secrets. I trust Lena Rodriguez. I have told Lena Rodriguez everything. She will take it to her grave. But when I was getting the information on this, I was remote viewing. I was like telling Lena what I was seeing, and she and I were communicating about it. But yeah, so this was all planned years and years ago. They were tracked, they were monitored, they had tracking on them, and yeah, took years. It was not Trump's call. Trump had nothing to do with it. He did not plan it. He did not organize it. And he did not order the hit. That's the point I'm trying to make. And I firmly believe that Harris, who's a strong woman and is very much in touch with reality, which is why I voted for Harris. Just to full disclosure. I am 100% convinced that Harris would have ordered the hit. And I'm 100% convinced that Obama would have supported her, because they tried. We tried to get them not to do this, paying them not to kill Americans, and it didn't work. The only thing that happened is they used the weapons to kill more people. So the conclusion from Obama and everybody else is, you know what? They're hell-bent on killing us. This isn't going to work. We tried negotiating, and they built up during the time that we had the Obama relationship, that Obama tried to get a peace deal with Iran. They just built up their military and were moving towards taking out the West. So Obama would be the first to say it didn't work. It was necessary. But so my point again, I don't know how many times I can say it, is that Trump didn't order anything. This is just politics. I believe, and this is what I don't like about politics, is, okay, now we're supposed to all go and attack the hit, but Obama did the same thing in Libya when he took out Gaddafi. Well, that was different. No, it was an executive order that was heavily criticized, the Republic, and it was the same thing. It was just data. It was just intel. People that say they were not a real threat, they fired 500 ballistic missiles at Israel. They're also firing on U.S. targets, 25 direct hits. How bad does it have to get? You're going to wait 2 weeks until one of them has a nuke on them? If it wasn't a problem, then why is everybody, including the International Atomic Agency and everybody else, been concerned? Why did we have to have an Obama deal in the first place? Because this is a real threat. This is not Iraq. It is not the same thing. It is not the same group. It is not the same risk factors. Yeah, so that is everything I have to say. We're going to go ahead and open the floor, hear what you all have to say. Then we will do a collective reading. So everybody, and by the way, you can agree to disagree with me. Like I said, I didn't even think that Trump was going to get reelected, to be honest with you. And I was a Democrat giving this to a Democratic president. So I was very upset when Trump got the rebuild. When Elon Musk gave the Oasis one to Trump. I have witnesses of my meltdown when I found out that the Oasis one was given to Donald Trump and they were going to do their spin and twist my data and turn it into God knows what. People here can testify about my emotional reaction. I had meltdowns for weeks about it. I am not a Republican. So this was just straight data given to Joe, and yeah, that's what happened. Okay, let's open the floor to a conversation. I love AOC, but I don't agree with her on this issue. Iran's regime gone in a few days. We did not put boots on the ground in Libya, and Libya fell into chaos that some would argue is a lot worse than what would have happened. We disabled them so that they couldn't create a trade route, but we also completely destroyed their economy and put everybody's lives at risk. And then extremists came in, and Libya became a very dangerous situation. So without boots on the ground, could it descend into complete chaos? And that's the issue. Do we need boots on the ground? And Americans do not want boots on the ground, but do they have the resources, the people of Iran who have wanted to topple this psychopath? He's really freaking nuts. This guy, have you guys seen the film footage on Ali Khamenei? He's not the Khomeini. People wanted to know. Ayatollah Khomeini died and Ali Khamenei took over. Kissing children, putting his tongue in children's mouths. He wrote a book about how to be a pedophile. Oh my God, he's so sick. He's a sick, sick guy. Yeah, I mean, can you imagine being well, I guess Trump is a version of that, Trump is kind of as close as we can get to being, he's similar. But anyway, yes, Iran's regime gone in a few days. I don't know, Khomeini, I'd like to see him tried. I think that would be better long-term than an assassination, which would make him a martyr. Also, I think the world needs to know the atrocities he committed against humanity, crimes against humanity, killing children, raping children. He, ordered the raping of virgins before execution, hanging large slews of women, from cranes because they showed a wisp of hair after they'd been beaten, raped, they were hung. This is not the same as the United States. Same with Whoopi Goldberg. She has a fear of flying, so she won't go anywhere. And she lives in a little magical kingdom all by herself. Great comedian. In many ways, I like Whoopi Goldberg as well, but she doesn't have a clue what it is to be a woman in Saudi Arabia or Iran or the Middle East or Afghanistan. There's simply no comparison. There's secret police arresting you and dragging you into cars because they saw hair, arresting your children. Just really some sick stuff. Yeah. Is there a chance that his health takes him out? Yes. We talked about the fact that there was a butterfly, that we saw a butterfly insertion point on the bruise of Donald Trump. And then we had some healthcare providers here weigh in on why he would have had a butterfly. Is it a blood draw, or why would they have given if they had, it's painful. Like, I had a blood draw there, and I don't know why the last time they did a blood draw there, but they said, is it okay if we do it here? I think because I had trouble rolling up my thing. That was it. So usually, because it's more painful, it hurts. The skin, it hurts. I don't like to the hand is very sensitive. I don't like getting, when I became a doctor, we had to go through med school and learn how to do draws. Same with nurses. And we have to do draws on each other. And it hurts to take. It's the cubital is far less painful. But I've had it. You can see the little mark that's been left from, sometimes it will leave a mark. You see my mark? And what I said is that this area looks to be the point right about here where the needle went. Can you all see my pointer? Right here is where the IV was placed. You can see it's slightly red here. And it looks like his skin, the capillaries broke, and that looks like blood thinners. So I would say that this person is you can see here, this blood coming up around here, and the insertion point right here for the butterflies right here. That red area, right about here is where they went in. And this looks like makeup. This is an older bruise too, the discoloration we're seeing, which leads me to think at the time the photograph is taken, we can go back a few days. If they're like, where is Trump? We haven't seen him for a couple of days. Remember that? He may have been getting some kind of medical procedure. Also, he was falling asleep when he was at the parade. So I think when we didn't see him for a couple of days, that's probably when he got some kind of medical checkup. Maybe he had the flu. Maybe he wasn't feeling well. I think he's on blood thinners, which caused the bruise. We can see the bruise is a couple of days old. And again, you can see here where the main area is healing last, probably because that is the point of the injury from the butterfly. Interesting. It's very interesting. I'd be interested to find out from nurses, what do you, if they weren't doing a blood draw, then why were they inserting a butterfly? Huh. What kind of medicine do you think he was being given? I'd be interested. Yes, Joel, it's quite painful. I don't enjoy getting, can you see my scar from when they did it to me? I don't know. Am I making any sense right now? Yes. Um, yeah, so that's the story and the glory, as they say. Oh, you guys can see it. I just noticed myself. It takes a couple of seconds for me to see the playback because I'm looking on the Sunday there. Oh, there it is. Yeah, you see the dots? Yes, there it is. Oops. That dot. That is from a blood draw. They will often leave a little scar. And that is where we see the vector, the insertion point, the vector. The first thing when I saw his hand bruised, I looked for the vector. I looked to see if there was an insertion point, and then I found it. Anybody else, any other doctors, physicians, nurses, look for the vector points, and yeah. Oh, it's scabbed. Oh, interesting. That could be blood sugar dysregulation also. So we're looking at potentially diabetes and coronary artery disease and blood thinners. Because, you get those kinds of things when a person also gets secondary conditions like candida, albicans, when you get yeast moving in, which is common in diabetics, right? So if we're seeing something that looks like yeast forming on the hand, that could be sugar in the blood. Yeah, you'll see it a lot on the feet. The feet will start to get fungal infection. So if there's fungal evidence of a fungal infection on the skin, that's pretty bad. That would mean that his immune system is depressed and his blood sugar may be elevated, which would be leading to increased risk for athlete's foot, funguses that can cause some strange things on the hand. And so, God, he sounds like he's very ill. Warfarin on Coumadin is harder to monitor. A lot of the time they'll use Plavix. When I was working a lot in that area, now they use new generation. The problem with Plavix is that it's always the same dose. Was it 70 milligrams, 75 milligrams? So I can't remember. Yeah. So that's I'd like to hear other people's opinions. Nurses, why do you think that they ran Butterfly? What do you think they were trying to do? Were they giving him a medicine? Has his veins collapsed? What the heck is going on? Of course, this is all speculative. We are not diagnosing or prescribing. We're just having a conversation, like as fellow human beings. What do we think is going on? Yeah, he's probably on statins. I would definitely assume he's on statins and on a blood thinner. And I'm thinking this is also looking like diabetes. If he's starting to get a fungal infection, if people are starting to see what looks like a fungal infections and things like that, that's pretty sick. Well, an example would be somebody with HIV. I'm not saying he has HIV, but a lot of the time if your immune system, if your cell-mediated immunity is wiped out, then you can die from other things. A respiratory infection can take you out, and funguses can take over, etc. And that's something we'll see in advanced HIV. Okay, on that happy note, we've been here for a while. Would you all like to have a reading? Would you all enjoy that? Would you like to get a personal reading? It's for the collective, excuse me. So, collective reading. I like Bernie Sanders. I like AOC when it comes to workers' rights. I think they're good people. I think that Bernie Sanders is an unbelievably good person. I do. I've meditated, I've done remote viewing on Bernie Sanders, and he really does have the purest soul. But the problem is that I think he's sometimes naive, and he admits, I know nothing about the military. So he is 100% right, fighting for the rights of workers here in the United States. There's a lot that I love about Bernie. I think he could do a lot of good things for our country if he had been the president. But on this issue, he and AOC I just don't agree with them. Based on the data that I had, I tried to be as objective as possible. Like I said, I was a Democrat who gave this to a Democratic president 2.5 years ago. So the fact that it was happening now under Trump tells me that it has nothing to do with Trump, because I can show people the letters. I don't believe this has anything to do with Donald Trump. I don't think he planned it, and I don't think he ordered it. I think that he simply got out of the way and let them do their job because they'd been planning it for years. Even Obama, when Obama was talking to him at the funeral, I think this is one of the things he wanted to talk about, saving the environment and also mistakes that were made with Iran. I totally get where Obama was coming from. It is hard to dismantle the leader of a country with 90 million people. When you decide something like taking out Iranian leadership, it doesn't just happen overnight. It's something that, like I said, takes years and years and years. It takes advanced intelligence, and it's easy for somebody who's a researcher who's sitting comfortably in front of computers, and I had an easy job because I just did war games, right? I was just doing war games. Well, what about this scenario? What about this scenario? The result of that scenario would be 95% chance of nuclear war. Well, what about this scenario? 95% chance of nuclear war. I said, you know what? If these are the results, they're the results. So you give it to Biden. You give it to, and his people probably knew the same thing, right? They were probably 6 months to a year ahead of me. But this is what independent researchers, so we were just giving it to whoever the president was at the time, right? This was not a good day for me also. I want to be very clear. I wasn't happy. It wasn't like, yay, we're going to have to take these people out. It was like, oh my God, this is a nightmare. If we don't take these people out, we're going to be at World War III. So the other thing is that the data showed if you don't do this, you'll be at World War III. You'll be in nuclear war. So the data did not show doing this brought us closer to nuclear war. The data showed that we were going to have to do this, or we were headed 1 minute to midnight. In fact, we were 1 minute to midnight. This the data shows that this takes us further from nuclear war. Okay. Well, they wanted to form a caliphate, and that was why Saudi Arabia was concerned. United Arab Emirates. Khamenei wanted to take over the world. He wanted to take over the West. He still wants to take over the West. He has supporters all over the world, and to declare his form of Islam, the true Islam. And that, so he was scaring the hell out of the entire area. It wasn't just the Israelis who have, are getting hit. The entire Middle East was terrified of this guy. He was crazy. He was writing books about how to rape a kid. Just sick. These people are sick, beyond sick. I mean, so yeah. Let me see if I can find it. Yeah, here it is. Okay, let me. So a little kid goes to a comedy with his mom to show a pretty picture that she drew of him, and he decides that he's going to, I don't know what. Look, I drew a picture of you. The mother is there. Does it taste good? That's what he asked. Okay, so this is the other reason why a lot of people are saying that they don't want him killed in a bunker. They want this man captured. They want him tried for crimes against humanity. For every child he's raped, for every woman he's raped and killed, for every man he's hung who fought to protect their family. He's committed thousands and thousands and thousands of crimes and built terrorist networks all over the world. So, we pray that this evil is removed from us and that the good people of Iran can return back to their homeland, a free democracy that's based on, respect for human life. All right, let's go ahead and we will do the MPAS prayer. If you haven't had a chance to like and subscribe, I would be very, very, yes, and he put his tongue in her mouth. Mm-hmm. Nope, I checked. It's not AI. All right, let's do this. I want to call on white light protection for myself and this community as we ask permission from Spirit to access the Akashic records. We call on our spirit guides and good angels to be with us. Please give us the clarity and the wisdom that is needed to empower all of us on our journeys to make the best decisions for ourselves, our families, the planet, the people we love, but also to help those that we may have strife with. And together, collectively, we say, Amen. Okay, I forgot to do the healing prayer. I apologize. Okay, let's go ahead and do this right. Let's do this again. Okay, if anyone would like to receive a healing at this time for you or those you love, please let us know and we will include you in our prayers today. I think I need to finish my coffee. I'm a little tired. I was up researching last night, studying brain science. I love neuroscience. Yeah, adaptability in stroke victims. Like a part of the brain dies and then how the brain is able to retrieve data. It doesn't even make sense because if the brain is dead, how can you retrieve data from a dead part of the brain? And so certain parts of the brain are not as consolidated as we had previously thought, but memory exists in more than just one area of the brain is what we're starting to believe with stroke. It's absolutely fascinating. So that's what I've been up to. All right, we're going to try this again. Let's bring in the empath prayer and send a healing to all of you who need healing at this time, both for you and for those you love. I apologize. We're going to do this again. Okay. I want to call on white light protection for myself and this community as we ask permission from Spirit to access the Akashic records. We call on our spirit guides and our good angels to be with us. Please give us the clarity and the wisdom that is needed to empower all of us on our journeys to make the best decisions for ourselves, our families, the planet, the people we love, but also to help those that we may have strife with. And together, collectively, as a community, we say, Amen. And for those of you who are requesting a healing at this time, we pray that you receive a perfect healing in mind, body, and spirit. And together, collectively, again, we say, Amen, Amen, Amen. May all souls be healed. Okay, let's do it. Your collective reading. Well, we used to think certain brain memories were in the amygdala, but, you know, we see in stroke victims, not only, there's a lot we don't understand. We just don't know how the brain is able to do certain things. Like, it's just, we're learning a lot from stroke. Yeah, it's people surviving and functioning fine with half their brain gone. I mean, it's just like, and the parts of the brain are associated with motor and memory, and it just doesn't make any sense. And it's just like these anomalies are causing us to scratch our head. That's not, well, obviously there are things we don't know. Yeah, I mean, clearly, I'm reading Robert Sepulveda right now. Or Sapolsky, excuse me, Robert Sapolsky right now. And he's brilliant, out of Berkeley. And he just leaves me with so many questions like, but the amygdala is gone, but the hippocampus, but the corpus callosum has been injured. There is no corpus. I don't understand. Tumors. Like, this doesn't make any sense. How are you functioning? Like, well, some would argue it's the soul. Right? The consciousness is coming from this. It just leaves us completely baffled. You don't have a brain. Isn't that crazy? I don't know. That's the whole point. We're trying to find out. Isn't that amazing? All right. This is your week. This is your week. Where you are at right now and the world, we are in territory mode. The King of Wands is territorial. Remember, it is associated with the elements wood and fire in Chinese medicine. Wood and fire. In 5-element theory, we would say that the wood feeds the fire, right? The more wood, the more heat, yeah? In Ayurvedic medicine, it would be pitta, right? Pitta, the heat. So we have the heat of war. Why do we think of the King of Wands as war? Because it is territorial, and wands always establish territory and space. My space, right? And the karma card is misery, worry, unhappiness, sleepless nights as the warmonger is over us, right? The war is over us. What do y'all think about that? What do y'all think about there being war over us? Let's go ahead and bring this over so you guys can enjoy your reading a little bit better. I want you to be able to see your cards and enjoy them. Does that work for you? All right, so we're seeing war, we're seeing territory, we're seeing aggression, we're also seeing entrepreneurship. So nobody is all bad, right? The good thing about the King of Wands is he's get up and go. He's got that get up and go energy. So because we have a lot of aggressive, I'm going to push, you're going to do it my way, that kind of, oh, leave me alone. You may be feeling put upon or harassed right now by aggressive bullies. but it's also in the base of the matter. So it's an opportunity for you to use this aggressive energy and transform it into something positive. For example, when you chant, like if you're a Buddhist, they say you should chant with the roar of a lion, right? So you can take this raw energy of aggression and you can transform it toward chanting for peace, or building a company, being an entrepreneur, paving the way for new innovation. How can we take this aggression and push it towards the good? Yes, wood is associated with gallbladder and liver. And when we have heat rising, right, we feel angry, the heat of the liver rising, and then it comes out through the eyes, right? We see fire in the eyes, right? The wood is feeding the fire, and that's the relationship between heat, wood, liver. For example, coffee might induce heat and fuel the wood, so you get hot flashes, right? And then, or anger through the eyes, they say, is the liver getting overheated. And that's that wood, because wood feeds fire. It's, yeah. You have daddy and mommy in Chinese medicine. What suppresses? Water suppresses fire, and wood feeds fire. Okay. So we have this kind of aggressive energy. How can you transform it and put it towards something positive, like working in your garden? But use this aggressive energy and transform it into manifesting positive things. Where we are at right now is the peacemakers are coming. So we have this energy of the King of Cups moving into first position. And that could indicate that people want to get to peace as fast as possible. The crossing card at this time is that which is hidden will be revealed. The strong feminine energy is going to be revealed. The hidden secrets regarding maybe the military actions that were taken. 9, that makes sense. Enneagram Peacemaker is 9. I'm an 8 and I'm an Aries, so I'm all about, I have that aggressive aspect. But this is beautiful because it's also a time of knowledge and also revealing that which is hidden. It could be a great time for you to study and learn and meditate what is above us. This bad feeling like, oh no, something bad is going to happen. Are we back in World War III? What's going on? And many of us are also concerned about our families, our family dynamics. If this is a personal reading, I would say that this is the perfect time for people to pursue knowledge, education, and your business, putting the aggressive energy that's in the air right now towards building your business, exercising, jogging. Channel it towards the good. Channel it towards, me aggressively learning violin 4 hours a day. When I'm in a really pissed mood, I'm going to sit here for 4 hours and I'm going to learn to play this dang violin, right? So those are all positive ways that you can transform this energy. The entrepreneur, the wise counsel who seeks the hidden mysteries. I'm a little concerned about your dynamics with family members. I don't like this 10 of Pentacles and 10 of Swords. Some of you could be having some challenges with your family right now. The truth has come out regarding issues. Maybe you're coming to some dark truths about your dynamics with family, friends, etc. It could also be that relationships are changing, that now is the time to say goodbye to certain friends and family, just because that sort of truth there, a truth that could devastate you about family, or be difficult to come to terms with. The near future is grief. So war is never a good thing, right? If like Obama did everything to make sure this didn't happen, right? He didn't want to bomb Libya, right? This is always the last choice. And, when collecting this kind of data, like when I did it from my own personal, because I wanted to know, it's always the last choice. You don't want to say, this guy's got to get taken out. I spent 48 hours with very little sleep towards the last end of it, trying not to bomb Iran. Because who wants that, right? So it's always the last choice. Where we are at right now, tremendous growth. Many of you are just growing. This is a time of great growth. Eight of Wands is rapid change, and it's also the month of August. So I'm going to go ahead and predict that the world, as well as you, are going to be going through major changes between now and August. And also it's fire, all this fire and wood energy. The opposition at this time has a heavy load. So, we have a heavy load upon us right now. What do I recommend is to, and you can see all the wood here. See the wood, firewood. Yes, that is wood. That's right, Alex. That is wood. Wood burns, right? It also tells us time, right? We can tell the time with wood. Does anybody know why we can tell time with wood? Why is wood considered an ancient symbol of time? How did ancient people know that wood was associated, that time is bound in wood? We say time is bound in the wood. Any tarot readers here? Why? Why is time bound in wood? Question to the readers. And why is it said that we can see the time in the wood? Oh, DP, please no foul language. Yeah, sorry. Oh, we got the answer. Very good. We do have some readers here. Joyce Petrus and Rex say the rings of a tree. That's correct. The rings of the tree. Ooh, very smart people here. Right. So ancient peoples, when they would buy a piece of property, they would cut a tree. Why would they cut the tree? Cut the tree in half before I purchase this plot of land. Why would I do that? Cut a tree down. Let me see. Let me see if the rain is so good here. Let me see if the soil's so good here. Because I can look at that tree and I can tell you how the land has been for the last 10, 20, 100 years, right? So this is why wood binds time. Yeah. And the final outcome is heartbreak. Heartbreak over the war. So this is a tough week. Stay close to your friends. Don't put yourself in any dangerous situations. Yeah. Where you are at right now, in the coming weeks, the sun comes out, victory, hopes and fears, the new contract, and great wealth. So there will be a period in the next week or two that is aggressive, and then the war will end and it will open up new trade, new contracts. And I see by August, the economy is dramatically improved, because the other thing is that the Houthi and the proxy military of Iran were blocking the ships, and they were also ambushing, they were pirating the ships. And so if they're no longer being funded by this pedophile, then the Houthi collapse. And that's the best thing that can happen to the people of Yemen, whose children are starving. I mean, it's just horrible what's happening to the people of Yemen, because they're being held hostage by these fruitcakes from Iran, by this psychopath from Iran who's been funding them. So the fact that Ace of Pentacles and the Three of Pentacles comes in at the outcome, and the fact that we have the Eight of Wands and the King of Wands, To everything there is a season. And this is the season of war. We talked about that. But I feel that things are improved by August, and it will be to great economic benefit to the world. I think that even Putin is glad this lunatic is gone. Putin said he's not going to help. People were mad at him. Why won't you help? Why won't you help? He said, look, we got over 2 million Russians in Israel. What do you want me to do? No, I'm not going to help. I'll be honest with you. Putin's probably glad this fruitcake is gone. He'd probably rather work with somebody who's an atheist or somebody who's a secularist, to be honest with you, because who wants to work with a fruitcake like this? He's nuts. He's probably, even Putin is probably secretly relieved. Oh God, could you get me a trade partner that's not a pervert? As imperfect as Putin is, he likes women. He likes anybody who's done a remote on Putin. He's a lover of women. He pets them. He's Putin's petting parties. I know the makeup artist that attended an event in Russia, the World whatever, and she said we called them Putin's petting parties because there were women always trying to sit on his lap and he would just pet them. I like women. They were always trying to sit. I want to sit on your lap. I guess a lot of women have a crush on him in Russia. And she was the makeup person, and she was like, this is interesting. Oh, he wasn't forcing any of them. They were doing it willingly. They were all over him like white on rice. Yeah, and they called it Putin's petting party. He would just sit there and, will you pet me? Will you pet me? And he would just pet them, rub their knee, give them a little kiss, and then, will you pet me? Oh my God. That's what she saw. The makeup artist, she came in from Los Angeles. She was one of the, she got hired to be the makeup for the World event. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and do some blitzes now. We've got some lovely questions coming in. Thank you, Joel, for helping me read this stuff because, as you can see, I don't have the best vision in the world. All right, is regime going to be gone in a few days? I think that it's going to be collapsed by August. Will Khamenei flee? They say he's in a very bad mental state, and he's already given his successors. We'll see how that goes. We've talked about how is Putin concerned about Iran's regime, probably concerned that he's next because everybody has the same data. Everybody, like I said, I did this and gave it to Biden. So it's the same data. And the truth is the strikes had nothing to do with Trump, and he's just an egomaniac. It was decided long ago. Will Trump's election be decertified? I think he's sick. And I think it's ultimately illness that takes him out. But will Trump be decertified? There's Trump, the leader. Follow the leader. Starr is over his opposition. Hopes and fears to be locked in. And the final outcome for him, he's leaving. The Knight of Wands shows him leaving or traveling, but your question was about him being removed. The courts are over Trump. His opposition he's starting to have issues with his own military. You have to realize his military said, take out Putin, right? Supercomputers say, take out Putin. So what you going to do? What you going to do, huh? What you going to do? Are you going to take him out or not, right? So Trump has to listen to his intelligence people. There it is. He's having some kind of a health crash, I think. Final outcome for him. Yeah, he's definitely having legal challenges. My God, he's got the high priestess after him. Some hidden stuff is being revealed, and the courts are right over him. He's also got the military, a star over the military, and they're after him. His hope and fear is a collapse and constraint. I see him leaving. Knight of Wands is a travel card. Okay. How concerned is Putin about Iran? We already did that. Will Trump's election be? We did that. Will the new government? Okay, hold on a second. Where am I? Will the new government of Iran have state trials for Khamenei and his henchmen? Boy, wouldn't you love to see that? Will the new government of Iran have state trial? God, I hope so. This is what we need. Let the world see him for what he really is. Not a god, not a holy man, but some pervert that's been holding 90 million people hostage. Three of Cups, armistice, dancing in the streets. The women take their hijabs off, right? So the power of the women, the opposition is in the grave, so he will die. He's probably going to die or be removed. But Four of Swords, I would say Khomeini is not looking too good here. Because, look, if he has half a brain, he knows what happened to Gaddafi, and he knows what happened to Saddam Hussein when they captured him, which means that I feel like somebody I trust has to kill me. I can't do it myself based on my religious beliefs, but I can put myself in a situation possibly if someone else takes me out. He's looking at exile, Three of Wands, trying to get to Iran, out of Iran, maybe to Russia or another country. But who's going to host him? The world has abandoned him. No, this is why World War III requires allies. He doesn't have any more allies. Look at that. In the grave and the devil. Look at the mastery over Iran. Look at the women rejoice. Yes, they're building a new constitution. And he is the devil in the grave. My God, how creepy is that? The hopes and fears for the nation that the thief will get away. Oh my God. Justice will come to Iran. Queen of Swords, who speaks the truth to power, is the Queen of Swords. She's stoic. Yes. 3 months, by the way, Three of Wands, June, July, August. Yeah, right around August, end of August, September is when we see this transition. I would imagine that there's civil war in the IRGC, the Iranian Guard. I think that this could not have been taken place if there had not been civil war in the IRGC, because the IRGC had been infiltrated. And yeah, it's good for Iran. It's good for Iran. Okay, status of Putin. I would imagine that, like I said, if we have the data, he has the data, right? If you knew the 5 phases that the data coming out from artificial intelligence and all of the checked, rechecked, different computers, different opinions, all came to the same data, you can be sure that he has a copy, right? So how is Putin doing? He's laying low. Do you really want to get in the middle of this when you have no more army, when you've already lost 1 million of your citizens? You sure you want to get in the middle of this right now? When you're losing the war in Ukraine? You have no more soldiers. You can't even get any North Koreans out there. Not that they could fight, but Putin, Ace of Cups, he wants peace. Why can't we give peace a chance? All we are saying is give peace a chance, right? So Putin's, what? Why are you picking on little Putin? We kicked out Syria, right? We took out Syria. We took out Hezbollah from Lebanon. This was all planned years ago. It was necessary, right? The opposition, Queen of Swords, the justice system. So there is still some legal pushback against Putin, I would think. It's the sword of truth. And the hope and fear. Can't we all just get along? Now he wants a peace deal because he sees what's coming. And the final outcome, money, double aces. Well, why don't we just try a new trade route? Okay, I will negotiate with the new Iran because we share, you got the Black Sea, the Caspian Sea, you got Turkey and Iran. We like trade, right? We've had trade with these countries for years, which means we all got to get along. So I give you love, you give me money. No money, no honey. It's that kind of an energy. Clarification over the love, transformation or death. He's talking peace now. We're talking war. It's too late for that, Pootie. It's too late to be offering. Now he's calling Trump. You want to talk peace? Okay, I just take Crimea. I'm happy with Crimea. I will pull back and just take Crimea, right? The cursed bridge is gone, right? So more wars coming, more U.S. and Western support. Finland and Sweden, like we said, are part of the UN. We saw that coming, right? So what's the guy going to do? He hasn't gained territory. He's losing territory because now everybody surrounding him is becoming part of NATO. And he's got that Knight of Swords after him, and they're pissed. No, we don't want peace with you now. Not after what you know. We're going to arrest you. We're coming for you. Queen of Swords, the Sword of Truth, and then Knight of Swords, War. Complete transformation of his opinion. Love, 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 love. Ace of Cups. The Dove of Peace. You want peace? Let's talk healing waters, right? So this is really interesting. And then the opposition, no, we want war. Hopes and Fears, Two of Cups is a peace treaty, and the hopes and fear is smoother waters. You want smoother waters over the issue of money. King of Swords, an economic relationship with Putin where he agrees to withdraw. He wants to get to peace as fast as possible so that this doesn't happen to him, and make some kind of economic deal with Trump. That's how I would interpret this. I always invite other readers to agree or disagree, but I feel pretty confident about this transformation. Now, all of a sudden, he does want a peace deal. This truth of the swords and the aggression of war, and then hopes and fears. Two of Cups is healing. It's the peace offering. Six of Swords is a desire to go to smoother waters. Final outcome, big money. King of Swords would be Trump. I got pushback on phase 4 from Trump and from Elon Musk because of they felt like it would be hard to take out Putin, and because they felt like there were a lot of people protecting him, etc. And I would assume, but if he doesn't get to peace soon, we will, with this kind of energy, we will march on Moscow. He's not going to take over the West. The intelligence agencies are not going to let him take over the West. Yeah. Okay. Kim Finley asks, is there a possibility that Trump's health takes him out? Does Trump's health take him out? Let's find out. Three of Cups, a great celebration. Shows him moving. I keep seeing him move. The Chariot and hopes and fears, transformation and grief. He is going to continue, based on these cards, he will continue to have legal problems. I feel sick. I feel like I have the flu as Donald Trump. And I don't think I can continue in this capacity as a president because I'm getting increasingly sick. If I didn't know better, I would think it was cancer, because cancer does strange things with your immune system. and you feel like you have a flu that you just can't kick. And so in addition to coronary artery disease and diabetes, which is starting to look like, this guy could also have cancer, because I feel terrible, like I have the worst flu in the world. I don't think that he can continue the fight. I think he will leave. New York, Washington, and several cities on high alert. We talked about Dearborn, Michigan, and the concerns about Dearborn, Michigan, that it had sleeper cells. And this is why we were concerned about fire in Michigan or war in Michigan. Let's take a look at not World War III, because that requires people to actually stick up for this pervert, and nobody is. No, but we are concerned about lone gunmen, lone sleeper cells, this sort of crazy people in a country where anybody can have a gun. This is the problem when anybody can have a gun. Let's take a look at the safety against terror attacks in major cities. I'll also take a look, ask Spirit if 3 of Wands would be Europe. So let's see if Europe or the United States or anywhere else is in danger. Over the waters, over the pond. It's my over the pond card. It's also 3 months. Okay. Ace of Cups, desires for peace. Yeah. Opposition to peace. 10 of Swords. Intelligence agencies are taking them out. Like sleeper cells, there's going to be raids. There's going to be more police raids on sleeper cells. They are losing, peace is winning. The hopes and fears, Ace of Cups, there is again money, the trade, and the final outcome, 2 of Wands, a new partnership. No, if it happens, oh my God, we are on very high alert. We are on very high alert. 4 of Cups is like focused. It's frugality, it's pulling back, it's a lot of people are getting arrested. AOC helping Khalil, a guy who was running around Colombia threatening Jewish students. This is not a nice guy. This is a terrorist from Syria, sympathizer from Syria. He should have, he needs to be deported. He's not somebody that we need to be celebrating his release. The question is whether it was constitutional, which is a separate issue. Is it constitutional to just randomly grab people and arrest them like that? That is the question. But whether he's a nice guy, or it's not saying he's a nice guy. They're saying that it was a violation of his rights, even if he wasn't a nice guy, right? Okay, let's see about America and the draft. Will we get a draft? According to Donald Trump, numbers are up. Numbers are up because the economy is terrible and nobody can get a job, so everybody's joining the military. All right, when the economy is bad, like under Reagan, people join the military because there's no other jobs in poor, depressed towns, right? So according to Trump, we got more than enough applicants, sure, because nobody can get a job. 7 of Cups in the club. They haven't made a decision yet about the draft. 10 of Pentacles, the family legacy, the hope and fear, the devil, and then the final outcome, a judgment is coming. Looks like the courts will come in over the issue of a draft. No, there will be no draft. No. There's no reason. It doesn't appear that there's any reason for a draft. It doesn't. Issue is resolved. 4 of Swords, opposition, peace, hopes and fears, money, greed. Final outcome is trade partnership is open. 2 of Wands. everybody here knows Two of Wands is an importing exporting, right? It's the trade card. Okay, good. Trade will be open again. Okay, we'll do a couple more. Yeah, let's see. Renaissance of Iranian art. Yes, I would love to see that. The Persian culture will rise again. Yes, they need to get their country back, free from this pedophile. Can you imagine if Donald Trump did that? Started putting his tongue down a 5-year-old's throat? Like, what would his supporters do? It's pretty disgusting. I don't know. It's pretty disgusting. Oh, we're seeing some very nice people here. Alex is eating smoked salmon. Yummy, yum, yum. We got eggs with veggies and pancakes, Crystal Blue. Ooh, some of y'all are eating some good stuff. Coffee, strawberry lemonade, and water at Granny's house. Sourdough toast and coffee with Joyce Petrus. That's probably what I'm going to have, but I might put some cheese on my sourdough and Marmite and onions and tomato. Yeah, I agree wholeheartedly. Joel and I, by the way, we look at this stuff. Joel and I are Democrats, but we both agree on this, that it was a nuclear program that was waiting to happen. So most Democrats agree with this. Most Democrats agree that this was necessary. And Obama probably thinks it was necessary because we tried so hard not to get to this point, and it was a disaster. And Obama will admit it was a frickin' disaster. We just paid them not to kill us, and instead they built up their military. He was hell-bent to take over. Ooh, Terry Gallant is having scrambled eggs and bacon. Oh, my goodness, girl. Maple sausage. Good for you. All right, I have a message from Auntie Mame. All right, y'all know Auntie Mame? Auntie Mame is what I have been channeling. Auntie Mame, I believe, is based on a true story by the author. I think that he actually had a Auntie Mame. Has anybody seen the movie? Has anybody seen the movie Auntie Mame by Rosalind Russell? Auntie Mame by Rosalind Russell. Yeah. So I think Rosalind Russell did a great job. I think she did a great job. But she is a character who adopts her nephew, and she is somebody who lives. Her philosophy was to squeeze every ounce you could out of life. Squeeze every ounce you can out of life. Live, live, live.
Yes, life is a banquet, and most poor suckers are starving.
That's her famous line.
Yes, life is a banquet, and most poor suckers are starving.
Life is a banquet, and most poor suckers are starving to death. That every day she woke up with this exciting, that life was, what will I do today that what music, what food will I eat, what world will I explore, what challenges will I face. And it's very important that we live life fully, that we embrace life fully, and that we listen to the philosopher Auntie Mame at this time. And do not play small with the universe. Let yourself live. Give yourself the best thing you can do for your ancestors is to live, and live big and joyfully, and to embrace the banquet that is life, because life is a gift and it shouldn't be squandered. Yeah. So I wanted to just share that because that's a message that's been coming a lot to me, and I wanted to share it with you. All right. Is Europe going to be attacked by Iran or Russia? We're concerned about lone. There's a lot more work to do in terms of dismantling their ballistic missiles capability. They've fired 500 ballistic missiles so far. Like I said, 25 were hit Israel. So there's a lot still to do in terms of taking out their weapons capacity. Yeah, but I believe the Shah will come back to help stabilize. He does not, he believes in democracy. He's been very clear about that. I'm just there as a figurehead to help in the process. And then after a couple of years, he will step down, or he'll just be a figurehead, but he does not believe in that the monarchy should have. He's a very special man, the Shah's son. Also, he has a daughter who's married to a nice Jewish boy, but she has no son. So who would replace him? So it's really more about helping to create a democracy than a monarchy, though the monarchies have done well in the Middle East. We see that in Jordan and in United Arab Emirates and Saudi Arabia. They want democracy, but they want a figurehead. They want and of course that's their right, as if that's what they want to do. Tulsi Gabbard going to be fired. A lot of people are wondering about her relationship with Trump. She made some questionable statements, and now she's backtracking and saying that she supports what Trump did. So, is she feckless? Is she just a grifter, or was she misunderstood? So let's take a look at Tulsi Gabbard, because she did some serious backtracking. Higher ethos, the Constitution and higher ethos. 6 of Pentacles shows her mercy, her opposition, hopes and fears, new beginning, and the final outcome for her, she took the money. At this time, no, it doesn't show her being fired. I always felt like she was going to make a lot of money off of these business arrangements. Russia is a gas station with missiles. Joel, you're funny. Yeah, I mean, Russia's giving plenty of oil to China, so they don't really need Iran because they've got Russia, right? So, yeah, Islamic Jihad for the Liberation of Palestine was funded by Iran. And it wasn't about peace in the Middle East. It was about terrorizing the people of Gaza and killing as many Jews as possible. And that's not really how you get to peace in the Middle East. You're just going to kill Jews, and then they're going to retaliate. And it just goes on and on and on and on and on. So Iran was not interested in peace with the Jews. He's called the Hitler of the Middle East by leaders of the Middle East. Putin enabled Iran to terrorize the Middle East. Good point, Joel. Good point. Okay, Whimsy, what about the report that the F-47 was brought in a Russian asset as a spy to the White House? Oh, let's find out. I didn't hear that one, but let's just see. Well, that sounds very interesting. I love that sort of conspiracy stuff. But don't you think that our intelligence agencies would have gone through it just like they did when we got the plane from Qatar? We have to look at it a little bit and do some things, and then they're saying they're going to scan it from top to bottom for spyware, right? 3 of Cups, Queen of Swords, 5 of Cups. No, I don't see that it's a Russian asset. It looks to me more like some kind of peace gesture or trade gesture or something. King of Cups. That's not really a spy card. Yeah. A page of swords can sometimes double as a spy because they're out to get the truth, right? Like a spy. Putin has been dealt with. Will NATO march on Moscow? Let's take a look. It's looking like, look, you know, and I know what the data is, right? We knew 2.5 years ago, so he knows the data. He better change his tune, right? All right. Well, God, I hate this. Will NATO march on Moscow? Fighting. There's fighting. They retreat. There's a retreating of the Russians. 7 of Swords. Thief flees. Hopes and fears. 6 of Pentacles. Mercy. The final outcome is be patient. The business world. God dang, that two of Swords from Putin. Grief. Smoother waters lay ahead. I think Putin has to get the writing on the wall if he wants to save himself. He's next. I think that Putin's going to change his tune, or because he knows what's coming. Yeah. He lost Trump because Trump is under the mercy of the intelligence agencies, which is why he keeps saying he's gone crazy. Trump has no power here. They're going to say, we're bombing on this. They probably didn't even tell him when they were bombing. Yeah, I ordered that. You didn't order anything, Fruit Loop. Go back and eat. You put ketchup back. Go ahead and put some ketchup on your steak and go away. I did that. Sure, baby. Sure you did. That's what I'm trying to say. He didn't do it. It's all made up. He's just a figurehead. If anything, this was planned by Biden. That's what I'm trying to say to people. 5 months ago, 6 months ago. It was planned for years. Okay, are we done here? Did we get to everything? Yes, we will have peace in the Middle East because we no longer have some Fruit Loop that wants to take over the world and all the other weird stuff that's going on. Yes, Joel is really educated. Joel is just really, ask Joel anything, man. Joel, he's awesome. Mossad is all over Iran right now. Absolutely. Cutting the head off the snake. Yeah, very well said, KT. Yes, very well said. Did I go to Bastille? Yes, I did. And I did my clinical at NUNM. I did my sciences at Bastille, but then I switched because you have more clinical options at NUNM. NUNM is great for clinical. Bastille is great for your first 2 years if you want to get sciences. I think Trump is very ill also. Yes, I agree. Okay. Democrats have to support workers again. Yes, Joel, we have to support our workers. 100% agree with you. Joel says the best scenario is regime change without the U.S. ground troops. God, do you think that's possible? I hope so. All right, you guys, you have been a joy and a pleasure. Like I said, let us agree to disagree, but don't be mean. Don't attack Mike, the other people here or me. The only thing that's going to happen is you're going to get blocked. Let's be adults. We are not Donald Trump. Don't have the emotional maturity of a 3-year-old. We are ladies, gentlemen, and everything in between and beyond. We love and respect each other. And we want what is best for the world, and we don't like war. But I firmly believe that this was planned a very long time ago, and I firmly believe that Biden would have made the same decision, and Harris would have made the same decision. The thing that I am sad about is that it wasn't Harris, because it would have felt so good to me to have Harris order that hit to free those women. That would have been so righteous for me. I would have felt so good seeing Harris give that order. We got the power, and women are taking it back. It would have been so much more meaningful to me if it had been under a Harris presidency. Yeah, that's just my own personal feeling about it. All right. I want to thank you all for hanging with me. Thank you for your love and your support. If you need to see me as a medical intuitive naturopathic doctor, or you would just like to have a reading, all that information is available through Booksy, we have telemedicine, and also through phone calls. It's really great. If you just want a quick 5-minute consult, 5 to 10-minute consult, I think they're like $35. One question, and then I tape it and send it to you. That's done through Wizio, and I can usually get your answers back in less than a week. All right, that's all I have for you. Be kind to all so that all will be kind to you too. God bless. Peace out, and we will see you all next time. Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much for your love and support. Okay.